Hey up, it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and look, somebody's painted my catchphrase. That is actually my hometown, apparently. I've not seen it in real life. I've just seen it pop up on Facebook. This is in my town. Somebody's painted "Hey up" on some shop fronts. So there we go. So maybe they've seen my videos, eh? Or maybe just everybody says it around here. I don't know, but that's how you spell "Hey up." Although I usually spell it with two O's instead of a U. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. Right. So anyway, where were we? Welcome to hang on, let's get rid of that. Welcome to my Sunday night news stream. Got some news articles for us to look at tonight. Got a bit of Star Wars, bit of Doctor Who, and what else? And some other stuff. Right. So let's just get on with it, shall we? Before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment if if you want to, or join us in the chat. What else? I'm live on YouTube. Let's just check and make sure that I'm live on YouTube. Yes, I am live on YouTube. We're live on Rumble. Oh, cracking, frog in my throat. Yes, we're live on Rumble, and we should be live on Twitch. Yes, we're live on Twitch. So just let me share that bugger. I can't share them beforehand. Everything else you can share the link beforehand, but with Twitch you've got to wait until it's actually bloody running, or streaming, should I say. Anyway, whatever. Right, so we're live on Twitch as well. As I said, I don't know why I keep doing Twitch, because I barely get any views. Of like 2 followers. I don't know how you get views on Twitch. I genuinely don't know what I'm supposed to do, but never mind. Right. Oh, sorry, I'm still a bit. I'm like 99.9% better, from my cold that everybody says is COVID. But not quite there, nearly there. It's lingering is the bugger. Right, so let's get on with this news, shall we? I don't think I've anything else to say. No, I haven't. Right. So I'll make myself titchy tiny. And oh, what's happened there? Why has that gone off? There we go. There we go. Oh dear. Right, so let's get the news up. First off is a bit of J.J. Abrams news. I don't know if it's true, because it comes from Giant Freaking Robot, so you never know. But there we go. Exclusive. Krull reboot in the works. J.J. Abrams attached. If it's true, it'll ruin it. Not that it was the most amazing film to start with. I do love it. I love Krull. But, it's not aged well, but it still is an amazing film starring Kenneth Marshall. There he is. In the only film I know him from. I don't think I've seen him in anything else, but he's more famous to people like me, or Trekkies, as Commander Michael Eddington from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, who went on board the space station Deep Space Nine as like a security, not chief of security, he was like chief of Starfleet security, and he had run-ins with Odo because Odo thought he were after his job. And it turned out he was part of the Maquis, spoilers, and ended up being a baddie. And he didn't have as much hair. He lost his hair at some point. But anyway, right, so there we go. So let's have a read. If you're worried that J.J. Abrams wants to reboot everything you've loved when you were younger, the good news is that not many people loved this movie until long after it was deemed a box office bomb. I've always loved it. I agree, it's not the best film ever made. I've always loved it. I think I went to see it at the cinema when it was first made. Anyway, our trusted and proven sources, whatever that means, they provide the link, but the link doesn't really do anything. It just shows other stories that they've published. Anyway, tell us that J.J. Abrams, the guy who helped revive the film franchises for Star Trek and Star Wars, are they being sarcastic there? Helped revive, i.e. destroyed, helped to destroy the film franchises for Star Trek and Star Wars, is attached to direct a reboot of the 1983 sci-fi fantasy flop Krull for Warner Brothers. If you're not familiar with Krull, depending on where you land, you're either missing out on a 1980s classic, yes, or one day you can move on to the next life knowing at least 2 hours of your current life were spared. No, that's a very cynical view. Watch Krull, it's amazing. Clearly hoping to ride the coattails of bigger genre hits of the day, Krull is a sci-fi fantasy fusion with a simple fairy tale premise. The princess is kidnapped, and the prince and his allies go on a quest to save her. Yeah, which is about it. It fuses science fiction and fantasy, i.e., the baddies are aliens. It's set on another planet called Krull. And the aliens arrive in the form of the Beast, arrives in his big spaceship that's like a mountain. And his force, even though they've got like lasers guns that they can only fire once for some reason, and then got to use the weapons as swords. And they can travel through space. They go around riding horses, but whatever. It's amazing. Right, Ken Marshall plays Prince Colwyn, who wields the most visually memorable part of Krull, the five-pointed glaive, which is that. Where were we? The film didn't exactly turn Marshall into a superstar, but it does feature appearances by at least two actors who would later become much more well-known. There's one of them. There's Liam Neeson, and there's Robbie Coltrane in the background, and that's obviously what's his face? Oh, crikey, I forgot his bloody name now. It's been in loads of stuff. Me and names. Anyway, Colwyn meets up with a group of bandits. Oh, it popped in my head then. Like it sometimes does. The name that just flashes in front of your mind's eye and then disappears straight away. It did that. Man. Colwyn meets up with a group of bandits whom he wins to his side. One is played by a very young Liam Neeson, although he had appeared earlier before this in Excalibur. So it wasn't exactly his first film. And another is played by the late Robbie Coltrane, though his voice was dubbed over by Michael Elphick. We're famous in the UK in a series called Boone. Best known as Harry Potter's Hagrid. But to be honest, I didn't know it'd been overdubbed. I thought he was just putting on an English accent, because he's Scottish. Is Robbie Coltrane. And we know he can do different accents because he did Hagrid, and Hagrid's not got a Scottish accent, has he, really? And there he is. Anyway, critics hated Krull. God knows why. It's amazing. Box office receipts failed to make back its $30 million production budget, which were a lot. It was technically a British film. And obviously, us Brits, are not known for making huge blockbuster movies, apart from James Bond. Technically, the Harry Potter films are classed as British, apparently. But I think the money mostly comes from America, doesn't it? But anyway, and any dreams Ken Marshall may have harboured about becoming a blockbuster leading man were dashed. Although he plays a good part, he's really charismatic. Anyway, years later, Marshall would earn himself a well-respected spot in the Star Trek franchise. Oh, there we go. As Michael Eddington, a Star Trek Deep Space Nine character who begins as a recurring pain in the butt and eventually graduates to recurring villain. The news of Warner Brothers rebooting Krull with J.J. Abrams attached is interesting for a number of reasons. It's not interesting, it's terrifying. On one hand, it isn't Warner Brothers who produced the original film, but Columbia Pictures, which was acquired by Sony 6 years later. Presumably, this news means Warner Brothers must have quietly acquired the Krull rights from Sony. Or maybe it's just bollocks. Maybe it's just giant freaking robot talking out of their bottoms. We're also assuming Abrams' attachment to the project must have begun, whatever, before the current WGA strike, and not just because the strikes have slowed down just about everything. Earlier this month, The Hollywood Reporter broke the news that Warner Brothers had suspended its exclusive deals with a number of prominent producers, including Abrams. Even before the strikes, remember, he got something like $500 million or something, wasn't it, to do these like Superman films and stuff like that, to produce content for Warner Brothers. They got like $500 million or something, and produced nothing. Anyway, because they're going to do, a Superman film, wasn't he, with with the Black Superman, and then they were going to do a Batman animated series, wasn't he? But anyway, I don't think they're happening now. Anyway, right, where were we? Even before the strike, there were reports that Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav wasn't happy with the deal made with Abrams' Bad Robot. Of course, suspended isn't the same as cancelled, and the dual writers and actors strikes have made big question marks hover over everything in the entertainment world. When we have more news about the Krull reboot, we'll make sure you know about it. I just hope they don't do it, because the Krull is an amazing film. Go and watch it. It's an amazing film. It's gorgeous to look at. It's got some great character actors in it. We've got Bernard Bresslaw, we may know from the Carry On films, playing a giant Cyclops. You've got Liam Neeson, Robbie Coltrane, Alan. It's called Alan something. He was in The Mummy Returns. He played a baddie in The Mummy Returns. He was in that. Who else is in it? Todd Carty, who's famous in the UK as a soap opera actor in EastEnders. But at that time, I knew him from Grange Hill, which was a kids TV show about a school. Who else is in it? I think it was another famous actor. It's not Ralph Richardson. One of those type of actors. It's not Ralph Richardson. It's somebody else, but I can't remember his name. Who plays the Emerald Seer? Who else have we got? That's all I can think of. Oh, and obviously, Freddie Jones. We've got Freddie Jones in it as Inia. Because I always joke when I watch it. He always says, "I'm Inia," and says, "I know." I always go, "Yes, I know. I can see you." But anyway, it's a great film, and it doesn't need rebooting. Just watch the original; it's great. Yes, some of the effects are a bit dated, but some of them are amazing. And it's got a great score by James Horner, directed by Peter Yates, who's done other things, and I can't remember what. I'll have to look him up. Just bear with me. He's done like famous stuff. I remember. I think Bullet. That's it. Yeah, he did Bullet, the Steve McQueen film. What else has he done? What else has he done? Is he related to David Yates, who would go on to do like the Harry Potter films? Bullet, The Deep. The film with is it Michael Caine and is it Michael Caine? I can't remember now. I've seen it and I can't remember. And Jacqueline Bisset. What else? And other stuff. And he directed on TV. He directed The Saint and among other things. Is he related to David? Yeah, I don't think he is he? I don't think he is. I'm just looking. I'm looking on Wikipedia, seeing if it tells us. No, it doesn't say. It just says his wife. Doesn't say who his kids are. Let's look up David Yates. I just want to know if he's related. Probably not. Probably not. No, it doesn't say. Oh no, his parents died when he was young, so he's not related to Peter Yates. So there we go. I just wondered, with them having the same name and both being directors, I thought they might be related, but they're not. So there we go. So I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. And I hope it doesn't, particularly with J.J. Abrams attached, because he just destroys everything he touches, doesn't he? As I've said before, he's the cinematic antichrist. But you never know. He could have made a good film if he wanted to. I didn't mind The Force Awakens when I first watched it, and I still can watch it now, but parts of it are super annoying. But I hated the Star Trek films. He did. Is a competent filmmaker, and that's about it. He's no good with stories or anything or characterization. Anyway, we'll move on. We will move on to the next story. Moving on to Star. Speaking of Star Wars, we're moving on to that, but not the films, the games. There we go. Cameron Monaghan confirms a third Star Wars Jedi, as in Fallen Order and Survivor, game is in development. Looks like we're seeing Cal's journey through to the end, and there he is as Cal Kestis. Oh, excuse me. Badly. Cameron Monaghan, the actor who plays Cal Kestis in Star Wars Jedi, the Star Wars Jedi series of games, has confirmed that a third game in the series is currently in development at Respawn Entertainment. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I've still not played, might have only just released this year, but Respawn has made it clear for quite some time that it plans on doing more with the series, with director Stig Asmussen even admitting in March that he saw Cal's adventure as a trilogy, but he's left though, hasn't he? He's left Respawn as Stig Asmussen. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. But that were in the news as well, that he's gone. Anyway, even admitted in March that he saw Cal's adventure as a trilogy and that a third game would be possible if Jedi Survivor sold well. Unsurprisingly, it did sell and perform well critically, making the final entry in the trilogy seem like a certainty. Although a new Star Wars Jedi game seemed like it was obviously going to happen at some point, I don't think any of us were expecting it to have already entered development in the very same year that Jedi Survivor launched. But according to Cal Kestis himself, that's exactly what has happened. Well, yeah, I suppose they could do. They could put things into like pre-production, can't they? While they're waiting to see how it does. You know, they could just not spend a load of money on it, but get the gears going, so they can probably get up to speed more quickly when the green light is hopefully given. Anyway, and there's a video there, so you can watch that if you follow the link. By the way, all the links are in the description down below. I forgot to mention that for all these articles, and when I've done, I'll put timestamps in so you can switch about between the sections. Right, where were we? As reported by the Direct, Cameron Monaghan made an appearance at Ocala, I don't know how to pronounce it, Comic Con 2023 in Florida, where he and the actor for Merin, Tina Ivlev, hosted a panel about their experience on the Star Wars Jedi games, as showcased in this video from YouTuber, or however you pronounce that. I presume that's it. During the panel, Monaghan revealed that conversations had already taken place about a third game in the series and that it seemed to have already entered some state of development. Monaghan said, we're working on the third game and we're in the process of doing it right now, so that's a big undertaking and there's been some conversations so far, but hopefully when all things are said and done, we'll be able to go in and make something really cool for you guys again. Monaghan's comments make it clear that even if the third Jedi game has already entered development, it's still very early on. As he notes that there have been some conversations, it doesn't seem like it's entered full production just yet, especially with the WGA strike still ongoing and seemingly preparing to hit video games soon. But it's clear that plans for the third game and for Ivlev and Monaghan's involvement are starting to be drawn up. Again, this doesn't come as a surprise at all, considering how well the last two games have sold and how positively received they've been by critics and fans alike. I'm going to have to get Survivor and give it a whirl. Wonder if it's on PS5 thingamabob premium. That the PS5 premium service thing. I bet it isn't. They never are. The games I want to play are never in the premium. It's all games that are like a million years old that I don't care about. Anyway, but I'll have a look. But it is surprising to hear it confirmed so soon after Survivor's release. It's also worth noting about the third game that the third game will have to find a new director. Oh, here we go. Stig Asmussen has been confirmed to be leaving Respawn and EA at some point in the near future, which I think he has actually left now. I think he's gone. There we go. That's the end of that. So there we go. So another Star Wars Jedi, whatever they're going to call it, is in development. I wonder what they're going to call it. But is he going to pop up in live action? That's what people want to know. Is Cal Kestis going to pop up in Ahsoka or The Mandalorian or the film, the Dave Filoni film in the Mandoverse? If it happens, is he going to pop up in that? I'd like to see him pop up in that. It'd be older, obviously, wouldn't it? Because I think are the Star Wars Jedi games set before? I think they're set quite a long time out there before. They're set just after the Empire starts and into, I think. So it'll be about 30 years or so, won't it, before like the Mandoverse. So they'll have to age him up a bit, I think. But I could be wrong. I don't know. So there we go. So another game is in development, which is cool. Right, we'll move on. We'll fire through these stories. Right, Doctor Who next. Doctor Who. Oh, I usually put a link, don't I, in the for the last few live news streams, I've put a link in. If anybody wants to join me, so I'll do that now. I'll put a link in the chat. If anybody wants to jump in and say hello. There we go. Put that in there. Hey. Right, David Tennant, Doctor Who. Right, we're off. David Tennant takes on Neil Patrick Harris in Doctor Who's 60th anniversary specials trailer. The popular BBC and Disney Plus series returns in November with 3 special episodes, and there he is with Donna. There we go. So a newly released trailer for the Doctor Who 60th anniversary special episodes reveals an old enemy coming back to face David Tennant, who returns as the 14th Doctor. It's the 10th Doctor. Don't call him the 14th Doctor. Catherine Tate, who also reprised her role as Donna Noble, joins Tennant as he heads out on an epic adventure across space and time to fight Neil Patrick Harris as the Toymaker, an all-powerful enemy last seen on the show in 1966, obviously played by somebody else. By the way, I like Catherine Tate. I don't know. I kind of got the hots for her. Maybe it's the red hair. I don't know. But anyway, I don't believe in destiny, but if destiny exists, then it's heading for Donna Noble, Tennant can be heard saying in the footage. By the way, I think yes, there is. We'll watch the trailer in a bit. As they try to figure out why the Doctor has come face to face with an enemy from his past, Gemma Redgrave also returns to her role as Kate Lethbridge Stewart, the leader of UNIT. I think it's the daughter, isn't she? Is it the daughter? It's the daughter or granddaughter? I think it's the daughter, isn't she, of Alistair Lethbridge Stewart, the Brigadier from classic Doctor Who. But they've changed what it stands for. It used to be the United Nations Intelligence Task Force, didn't it, UNIT, back in classic days, like Tom Baker era, etc. But they've changed it now, haven't they, to something else, and I don't know what it stands for now. Anyway, this is just the start as the fever starts to burn, showrunner Russell T Davies said. We're heading for a November full of Doctor Who surprises. Fans and new viewers alike, stay alert. Tennant, who previously starred in Doctor Who for 5 years as the 10th Doctor, returned for the special episodes to celebrate the anniversary of the popular BBC and Disney Plus series, which was created in 1963 and then revived in 2005. It was also previously announced that Jacqueline King and Carl Collins would be returning as Sylvia Noble and Sean Temple, respectively, in the 60th anniversary specials, as well as Ruth Madeley was introduced as Shirley Ann Bingham. Doctor Who returns in November with 3 special episodes titled The Star Beast, Wild Blue Yonder, and The Giggle. Watch the latest trailer below, and we'll do just that. Right, are you ready? Can I make this full screen? Will it let me? I don't think it will it?
Sometimes I think there's something missing. Like I had something lovely, and it's gone. I lie in bed thinking, what have I lost?
I've got this friend called Donna Noble. I had to wipe her memory to save her life. If she remembers me, she will die. So what happens next? A spaceship crashes right in front of her. It's like she's drawing us in.
What the hell? We've got a bloody Martian in the shed!
Don't know. Me. Oh, here we go again. I don't believe in destiny, but if destiny exists, then it is heading for Donna Noble. And I've got a memory. After a very long time, something's coming back.
Who are they?
Monsters.
There's something so bad the TARDIS ran away.
Yes.
We go and kick its ass!
Kate Lethbridge Stewart.
What do we do this time, Doctor? How do we fight the human race?
Something entered this world.
Oh, but he is recognizing me.
Who is he?
Whatever waits.
Open fire!
Why does it have to be this? don't know if I can save your life this time. Worldwide premiere.
Ooh, that looks exciting, doesn't it? Have they got Murray Gold back as well for the music? Because it was epic music, wasn't it? That looks really, really good. I'm looking forward to that. But Catherine Tate would have been being a bit breathy at the beginning, wasn't she? Talking like that. She must have been channeling Elizabeth Sladen. Sorry. She was a bit breathy at times, wasn't she? Doctor. But there we go. So, yes, looking forward to that. I hope it's good. Russell T. Davies is back. Hopefully he's saved Doctor Who. I hope. We will see. Right, let's move on. Don't know why I sang that. Right, The Creator. There we go. Can The Creator become a rare, big-budget original sci-fi hit at the box office? It's not a big-budget film, though, is it? Well, yeah, it is. But, was it $83 million budget? That's not a big, not compared to what Disney and Warner Brothers and all these are spewing out. It's pretty low budget, isn't it? It'd be classed as mid-budget these days, I suppose, wouldn't it? Anyway, there's Ken Watanabe as obviously some sort of robot. Director Gareth Edwards has had a surprisingly... Sorry, android it'd be, wouldn't it? Director Gareth Edwards has had a surprisingly quiet handful of years after directing two massive hits, 2014's Godzilla, which I love. I love that film. Don't know why people don't like it. You never see them fight. You do. There's lots of it in it. They always cut away. Because you've got to... can't just have a film just with monsters fighting all the way through. Anyway. And 2016's Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Again, another film I love. Which I keep saying it's my favourite Star Wars film. I don't know, I'm kind of cooling on it a bit now, but it's up there. It's one or two. I think maybe the original Star Wars, A New Hope, for you young'uns. It's probably still my favourite, to be honest. But Rogue One's up there. It's still up there. I love that film. But, it did share directing credits, didn't it, really? Even though I think they deny it, but there is the story that about 45% of the film, something like that, were reshot by Tony Gilroy. But I think they've denied it, haven't they? But, the fibbers. Anyway, Godzilla and Rogue One back to back. He hasn't directed a movie since. Now, the filmmaker is finally back at it with a big original sci-fi film in the form of The Creator. Edwards has been remarkably successful in the sci-fi realm. Because remember, he did Monsters back in the day, which is a really good film. And he did all the special effects, the visual effects for that himself on his home computer. And it looks really good. It's a low-budget film. I think it might have been less than $1 million or something. It, really low-budget film. But it looks, bigger. But anyway, I forgot what I want now. Successful in the sci-fi realm, but can he deliver an original big-budget hit in the genre? It's rare air in recent years, to be certain. Box Office Pro currently has The Creator set to earn anywhere between $15 and $22 million when it opens in theatres next weekend. If it's got a budget of 83, it needs to make at least 3 times its budget, really, doesn't it? So that's what 3 8's 24. Yeah, call it 200 million. It needs to make, doesn't it, to break even? Which will it do? I don't know. With it being an original story, will it get that back? I don't know. Because the average Joe that they're attracted to name titles, aren't they, essentially? But unless you're Mission Impossible. Where were we? The Creator is set to earn anywhere between $15 and $22 million when it opens in theatres next weekend. If it opens on the higher end of expectations, it should be able to take the #1 spot. though Saw X is also arriving on the same day, and horror has been doing very well over the last couple of years. I like the Saw films. I do. It could prove to be a tight race. Regardless of its ultimate position on the charts, a finish in the $20 million range might present a tough road to profitability for the film. Edwards was relatively thrifty with his latest, but relative is still the key word here. Even though the film is massive in scope with impressive visuals and a stacked cast led by John David Washington from Tennant, I've not seen, Edwards managed to get very creative and make the movie for around $80 million. That's a fraction of what most franchise blockbusters cost. So the creator doesn't need to make $1 billion to reach profitability, but it probably still needs to make somewhere around $200 million. Oh, yeah, we're right. At the very least, for this to be considered a worthwhile venture for Disney in the long run. What? Why is it a Disney film? Or is it a Fox film? I don't know. I don't know where it's coming from. 20th Century Studios. Yeah, so it is Disney. And there's another, obviously from the trailer, I suppose, a robot. Looks a bit like E.T., doesn't it? Doing a bell. A robot monk. Anyway. So do these robots in this film have religious beliefs then? Or is it just there to ring the bell? Anyway. The creator takes place in a future where the human race is locked in a war with advanced artificial intelligence. An ex-Special Forces agent named Joshua Washington is recruited to hunt down and kill the creator. The elusive architect of advanced AI was developed a mysterious weapon with the power to end the war and mankind itself. And if you've seen the trailer, you know that the creator turns out to be a kid, doesn't it? I think. Anyway, sci-fi is easily one of the most popular genres at the box office over the last 20 years. When I say a kid, and like a child android or whatever. Sci-fi is easily one of the most popular genres at the box office over the last 20 years, but the vast majority of that popularity has taken place within established franchises, particularly when we're talking about big budget films. Superhero movies and Star Wars make up a big chunk of that, not to mention the monsterverse that Edwards helped start with Godzilla. Yes, original sci-fi hits from time to time. We can look at last year's sensation, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm going to have to get around to watching that, which earned $141 million worldwide and won Best Picture at the Oscars, but it was produced for a mere $25 million. Megan, my favourite film of the year so far, $180 million worldwide is another example, but again, we're talking about a movie with a $12 million budget. I love Megan. Watch it, it's an amazing film. The extended version, the slightly gorier version, is the one you want to watch. As far as American-produced, bigger budget sci-fi originals go, there's 2021's Free Guy. That's the Ryan Reynolds one, isn't it, which I haven't watched, which took in $331 million against a $100 million budget. So that's like squeaked in, didn't it, to profitability. A performance anywhere near that would be an absolute win for Disney, but with an opening weekend in the $20 million range, the creator would need absolutely incredible staying power in the weeks that follow and/or a gigantic turnout overseas. I was just going to say this. Free Guy benefited from Ryan Reynolds. I was going to say that's probably why that made $300 million. All the ladies wanted to go watch Ryan Reynolds. Does he get his shirt off in it? Probably. And the lack of competition as 2021's theatrical marketplace was far less crowded. Fortunately, early reactions to the film have been downright glowing. Word of mouth could help give this movie the bump it needs to defy the odds and become the big budget original sci-fi hit all involved are hoping it can be. The creator hits theatres on September 29th, 2023. There we go. Looking forward to that. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go see it at the cinema, so I'll have to wait for it to hit streaming. But never mind. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It looks good. It looks good. I hope what we see in the trailer isn't the best bits of the film, and the rest of it's just people sitting around talking and being boring. But I doubt it. I hope it looks good. It looks interesting. But I'm a bit of a I forgot to put his name now. Gareth Edwards. I'm a bit of a Gareth Edwards fan. I was getting mixed up. There's another Gareth. I was getting mixed up with Gareth Evans. That's another director, isn't he, that did like the Raid films and stuff, didn't he? I was getting mixed up with him. Right, so there we go. So let's move on. Dear. Where are we? Toys next. Looking at toys. There we go. From the Flickering Myth. I was thinking they should change that title, shouldn't they? Dear. Hasbro's new Star Wars action figure reveals include Baylan Skoll, Jedi Knight Revan, and more. Right, Hasbro has unveiled a selection of upcoming Star Wars The Black Series and Star Wars The Vintage Collection action figures, which includes the likes of Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati, Chopper, and Professor Hu Yang. Oh, he's a professor. I didn't even know it. I thought it was just Hu Yang. Professor Hu Yang from Star Wars Ahsoka, Bo-Katan from The Mandalorian, and an HK-47 and Jedi Knight Revan 2-pack inspired... That rapper that died, inspired by Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Take a look at the new products here, and that's what we're going to do. Hey dear. Right, let's have a look. Right, Star Wars The Black Series, Baylan Skoll, and there he is in his packaging. Look quite nice, you know, quite a good likeness of the late Ray Stevenson. Still want to know what's going to happen to him. Is he going to die in this series, or have they backed themselves into a corner? Is he supposed to be in season 2? Wonder what they're going to do. Anyway, Star Wars fans and collectors can imagine scenes from the Star Wars galaxy with his premium 6-inch Star Wars The Black Series Baylan Skoll figure, inspired by the character's appearance in Star Wars Ahsoka. Set after the fall of the Empire, Ahsoka follows former Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano, blah, 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 blah. Fans and collectors can display this fully articulated figure featuring premium detail and multiple points of articulation in their collection. Includes figure and one entertainment-inspired accessory. What does that mean? One entertainment-inspired accessory. Does that mean the lightsaber? Is that an entertainment-inspired accessory? Oh dear. Right, Star Wars The Black Series, Shin Hati. Played by Ivana Sakno. Is that how you pronounce it? Something like that. There she is. Again, you know, I suppose it's okay, isn't it? I suppose it's an okay likeness. You can tell it's her anyway, can't you? Blah, 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 blah. And it says the same. One entertainment-inspired accessory, i.e. her lightsaber. Looks a bit red there, doesn't it? It's supposed to be orange. Oh, excuse me. Told you I was nearly better, but not quite. I'm starting to stuff up again now. Right, Black Series, Imperial Stormtroopers. Have they got one... Yes, they are. They've got one entertainment-inspired accessory as well, which I'm guessing is the blaster. Cool. Stormtroopers are always good, even though they're evil. Well, they're not evil. They're just soldiers, aren't they? Cannon fodder for the Empire. Black Series Luke Skywalker in his, obviously in his Empire Strikes Back clobber, or is he in his Red 5? Is he? No, he's in his Empire Strikes Back. So he's got his blaster and his lightsaber. So he's got several entertainment-inspired accessories, hasn't he? There we go. In his X-wing pilot suit. There he is. Got his blaster and his lightsaber. 2 entertainment-inspired accessories, including a blaster and helmet, but not his lightsaber. So which is which? So is the lightsaber not an entertainment-inspired accessory? Confusing us now, Hasbro. Black Series Darth Vader. There he is. What if he has detachable hands? Does he have various hands? One's like doing that and one doing something else. And lightsaber accessory. There we go. Black Series Bo-Katan Kryze. There she is. Got a jetpack and other bits and bobs. It looks okay, I suppose. A little bit hatchet-faced, but fair enough. I suppose these won't be going for like the same price as like Hot Toys and was it? I can't remember the name. That other company that does them. I don't collect stuff like that. I can't afford these sort of things. I've no room. So I've got all this stuff here, but it's stuff that I've collected over years and years, and none of it was super expensive. 4 entertainment-inspired accessories. So she's got a jetpack. So what's 4 then? Jetpack, helmet, whatever they are. Oh, they're holsters, aren't they, for the guns? That's what they are. So is that the 4? Right. Vintage collection, chopper. Which, in case you didn't know, chopper comes from C110P. See, chop. Chop. See what they did. Very clever, Dave. So there we go. There's Chopper. He's got a spare radar thing, whatever it is, and whatever that is. I've no idea what that is. Cool. Includes 2 entertainment-inspired accessories, including a flight stand. A flight stand. The hell's a flight stand? Must be that there at the bottom. Maybe you can swap his middle wheel for a rocket thing because he can fly, can't he? Right, Professor Huyang. Fair enough. So where's this vintage collection? I know he's appeared in Clone Wars, but does that mean he's now vintage? Same with Chopper. When you think vintage, you think like the original the original trilogy, don't you? That's what I do anyway when I think of vintage. Anyway, so he's got his stuff there. I suppose his spare arms for his training and all that, whatever. 3 entertainment-inspired accessories, including the data pad. So he's always ready for research and discovery. We're nearly done. Oh, Krennic. Sorry, from Rogue One. And we also saw him in Mandalorian, I think, wasn't it? Was it Mandalorian or was it Obi-Wan Kenobi? I can't remember. There he is. Looking a bit like Ben Mendelsohn, but got Lego hair syndrome there, hasn't he? But, I'm not a big fan of Ben Mendelsohn. He's fine, but I'm not a big fan of him. I don't know, there's something about him. Jedi Knight Revan. HK-47 and Jedi Knight Revan. So there's a HK-47, which we've seen in Ahsoka, haven't we? And there's Revan, who's obviously is it? I think he actually is in. Yes, he is. He's in actual canon now because they have appeared on screen, haven't they? In the Tales of the Jedi, weren't they? I think was it? I can't remember. Is that it? Yes, that's it. That's the end. So there you go. So I don't know when. Does it say when they're coming out? It doesn't say when they're coming out, does it? Does it? Does it say at the top? Did I miss it? Or are they out now? I don't know. Let's go all the way back up. No, it doesn't say. Never mind. If they're out now, go and get them. If they're not out now, you'll have to wait until they're released. But anyway, very nice. If you're into that sort of thing, collecting stuff like that, cool. Like I say, I can't afford stuff like that unless they were cheap, like me. Right. Oh, Cyberpunk 2077. Remember last time we had that story that Elon Musk walked into the Cyberpunk 2077 recording studio when his girlfriend Grimes, I didn't even know her a woman, were recording her parts, and he walked in with a gun and basically demanded to have a role in the game, and then they put him in as a background character. Well, it says here, no, that wasn't Elon Musk in Cyberpunk 2077. It says senior quest designer who came up with this nonsense. And there's Elon Musk. Excuse me. Sorry. Like I said, 99.9% bet. The stuffy nose. Dead annoying. There's a change in Cyberpunk 2077 2.0, so small players might not have noticed it. Simply swapping the model used for one background NPC in the Corpo prologue Players did notice it, however, because some of them believe the original model was intended to be an Elon Musk cameo. Actually, I've got an image of it. Just bear with me. Bear with me. From last time. There it is. There it is. There he is there. Look, that's supposed to be Elon Musk there in the background. But I suppose it could be, or maybe, it could be Jonas Quinn from Stargate SG-1 for all we know. It could be anybody really. But it does have a vague resemblance to Elon Musk, I suppose. Did we get to see his face properly? I don't know. Maybe it's not a good... As I've not played it. So I've got the game. I've started it, but I've not got very far. So anyway, back to the article. Oh, pardon me. I am suffering. Right. Where were we? Right, according to a recent biography of the world's wealthiest person by Walter Isaacson, we're on Twitter, wasn't he, saying he's got $40 billion to spend. He says, what should he buy next? And I said, you could buy my YouTube channel for $1 million, but he never got back to me, never replied. Anyway, according to a recent biography of the world's wealthiest person by Walter Isaacson, Musk showed up to CG Project Red's office while wielding a 200-year-old gun to demand a cameo in Cyberpunk 2077. I don't think we're actually waving it about, threatening him to put him in. He probably just had it. That doesn't mean they actually put him in there, though. When one Twitter user posted before and after screenshots... All right, let's have a look at this then. Let's have a look. I'm going to have to get out of bloody full screen again now, aren't I? Yeah. Where are we? Here we go. That's it, isn't it? All right, here we go. So I can see it a bit better here now. Full screen. Here we go. There we go. That's from the front. Is it him? Don't know. Anyway, there's an after one. All right. Oh, it's obviously somebody else, but that's a different character as well. So I presume that's the after. That's the before. With Russian writing there. Cyrillic. So is that Elon Musk? I don't know. I suppose it could be, couldn't it? You could say it's a reasonable representation of him, or not. Doesn't really matter, does it? Right. Just thought clear that up. Right, where were we? All this bloody going backwards and forwards. Right, where we were. Right, when one Twitter user posted before and after screenshots with the lament, oh my God, they removed the Elon Musk cameo from the corpo opening in Cyberpunk 2077. Senior quest designer Patrick K. Mills couldn't help. Wonder why he's always got to have his K in, isn't it? Is there another Patrick Mills? Anyway, couldn't help but comment, that wasn't Elon Musk. It looks nothing like him, he wrote. Who came up with this nonsense? Well, it does vaguely look like him, in that they both have heads and black hair. Mills didn't deny that Musk swung through the studio's building with an antique firearm, begging to be digitized, saying, I wasn't there, I don't know. He did restate that the NPC in question is definitely not Musk, however, saying even if that's true, that doesn't mean this random Japanese guy is supposed to be him. As for the bigger changes made in Cyberpunk 2077 version 2.0, here are the full patch notes if you want to go there. Here's how the revamp, blah, 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 blah. Is that it? Oh, right. So Patrick K. Mills says it's not Elon Musk. I bet it is. I bet it is. And frankly, who cares if it is or if it isn't? Not me. I could give a monkeys. Right, let's move on. Nearly done. It's going to be a shortish show, isn't it, this week? Thank God everybody says, not that anybody's watching. Right, oh, hang on. Is Star Wars trying to ditch its nobody knows watching this. Is Star Wars trying to ditch its most hilariously inappropriate name, aka what the hell is Jats music supposed to be, Disney? And there's the Cantina band from Star Wars. It's a very special moment in any young nerd's life when they learn the first time that the jazzy music heard so frequently in the Star Wars universe is called jizz. Sorry, I'm an infant. How many friendships have formed from these moments? One older nerd looking at a younger one and intoning those magic words. Hey, I bet you don't know what the genre of music the Cantina Band is playing is called. Originally sourced from the junior novelization of Return of the Jedi in the 1980s, it's become a sort of pop culture shibboleth. What the bloody hell's a shibboleth? Who wrote this? William Hughes. What's a shibboleth? Don't know. For the joyfully immature. See, I'm going to have to look that up now. I'm going to have to look that up now. Bloody using words I don't understand. How dare you? Right. A custom, principle, or belief distinguishing a particular class or group of people, especially a long-standing one regarded as outmoded or no longer important. Right. Okay. Whatever. So it's a belief, an outdated belief. For the job for immature like me. A little nugget of perversity buried inside the often sterile heart of Star Wars. No, have you watched Return of the Jedi? In the UK, that's hilarious. Jabba wanker, you know. Anyway, but now we have to ask. Let's go talk about the wanky Chewbacca. You know, it's hilarious if you live in Britain. But now we have to ask: is our way of life being threatened? Is jizz music under attack? This is per excerpts that have been circulating online this week, taken from the recent official Star Wars short story collection From a Certain Point of View, Return of the Jedi. The story in question, Fancy Man, by Star Wars creative art manager Phil Szostak, tells the story of how Blue Elephant guy Max Rebo ended up playing in Jabba the Hutt's palace the day Luke Skywalker came for that fateful visit. Gotta get to the gig. That's how he talks, doesn't he, in Robot Chicken? The tale involves Rebo flashing back to improvising a new tune, unlike one of any number of Jat standards he knew by heart. And yeah, that's right, Jat standards. Although the story notes that the music form came to be known by many names, some less palatable than others, at no point does the word jizz appear in the story's text, causing an outcry from people worried that jizz and jizz whale alike are being drained out of the Star Wars universe. To be fair, Jats, as a Star Wars musical form, has its own long history. The name dates back to a piece in a Star Wars fiction magazine from 1993. In fact, it actually predates jizz as a genre name, although the Return of the Jedi novelization describes a musician as a jizz whaler. It wasn't until 1995, Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina, that jizz itself was mentioned by name. The AV Club in-depth research in the Star Wars jizz sciences. Jats and jizz have both appeared periodically since then, although notably only Jats has made the jump a few times from the non-canonical Legends material into official canon over the last few years, including a reference in 2023 novel Inquisitor: Rise of the Red Blade. You just know that now this is like out, and you know people know about it. I didn't know it was called jizz. What's his face? The New Zealand fella who's supposed to be writing a Star Wars script and said he'll never finish it. I forgot his bloody name now. Him that did Thor. It'll come to me. I'm typing it in and it'll come to me as a bloody Taika Waititi. I knew it'd come. And before I finished typing, the Taika Waititi's now trying to find ways to get jizz into his Star Wars script. Anyway, include blah blah blah, and now from a certain point of view, jizz, meanwhile, was toil in obscurity as part of the franchise's post-Disney life, with the implication being that the company would dearly like us all to stop writing articles exactly like this one and let jizz fade instead into the dustbin of galactic history. 38 comments. I'm not looking at them because they'll all be disgusting. Go on, let's have a look. Let's have a look. It looks like Disney has prematurely shot its wad on what was supposed to be a dry run, if you will. So it looks like they have something of a mess on their hands. Told you it'd be disgusting, didn't I? Jats. The best crack. Oh, they're talking about that. Han. So, Luke, what are you into? Luke. I absolutely love jizz. When it comes to oral pleasure, there's nothing beats jizz. In fact, I love sneaking out to the clubs at night and ingesting as much jizz as humanly possible. Han. Dear. Yeah, I told you they'd be disgusting. So go and read the comments because I'm sure they're hilarious. Right, let's quickly move on to the last story for tonight. Hey. Oh, it's Stargate. It's Stargate. Sort of. Star Wars as well. There we go. Stargate actress is now one of the stars of Ahsoka, and you missed her. I didn't know. If they hadn't told me, because I never look at the end credits. I watch the end credits part, the animated part of the end credits on Ahsoka. But then because it on Disney Plus, it like when that's finished, it like shrinks the box down, doesn't it, to a corner of the screen. And you've got to like click on, watch credits, haven't you? But I'd never do because I thought, well, there's nothing else going to happen now because there's no end credits scene if that happens. So I didn't look at the cast to see that it were. There she is, Claudia Black, the lovely Claudia Black. Right, what's the sci-fi franchise about exploring? I think she says, "Where's my Daniel?" I think that's where she says what she says there when they first bring her in season 9. Of Stargate SG-1, although she had appeared, I think, the season before. She stole the Prometheus, the spaceship. Anyway, what's the sci-fi franchise about exploring ancient temples and finding unexpected ways to travel to the rest of the galaxy? Once upon a time, the answer to that question would have been Stargate, but ever since Ahsoka figured out how to hop a ride on a space whale to search for her friends, the new answer is Star Wars. No, it's not. Interestingly, the two franchises have more than that in common. Stargate SG-1 star Claudia Black recently appeared in Ahsoka, playing the lead Night Sister. And there she is, like I say, you wouldn't know, would you, to look at her. Needless to say, most fans of both franchises didn't recognise this iconic sci-fi actress. She also kicked ass in Farscape. I've never been able to get into Farscape. I've tried, but I just can't get with it. I don't know why. It just doesn't click with me. I don't know why. She was also in Pitch Black. She's also in that film as well. For a simple reason. True to their previous design in the animated series The Clone Wars, all of the live-action Night Sisters were mostly clad in dark maroon robes, and their faces were painted white and marked with exotic designs. There you go. Claudia Black in Ahsoka, it says. Altogether, it's one of the most memorable designs in Star Wars history. I won't go that far. Although, as with other baddies layered in exotic clothing and even more exotic makeup, we're looking at you, Darth Maul. It can be difficult to recognise the actor underneath it all, or actress. If all these adventures in a galaxy quite literally far, far away, near enough, drinking game, have affected your memory, or maybe you never watched Stargate SG-1 in the first place, and then I'm asking why not. It's amazing. You may be curious as to who Claudia Black played in that other famous sci-fi franchise. In Stargate, Black played the character Vala Maldaran, a human who has a strange sense of humour and an even stranger destiny. She used to be... I forgot a bloody name now. Tell you, me and bloody names. She used to be the host for a Goa'uld system lord. Katesh. She used to be the host for Katesh, a Goa'uld queen, sort of, who ruled the planet, and all that. But she was freed. I think something happened, and the Tok'ra freed her somehow. I can't remember what happened. So there we go. Right, where were we? She ends up giving birth to the new leader of a villainous race. Yes, she gives birth to the leader of the Orosai, played by Marina Baccarin, eventually. Then she finds redemption by joining the SG-1 team. While Black didn't join Stargate SG-1 until season 9 and wasn't a regular until season 10, she became a fan favourite actor and low-key queen of the sci-fi genre. As I said, though, I think she'd appeared at the season before in the episode, I think it was like Prometheus Unbound or something like that it was called, where she stole the spaceship, SG Stargate Command's spaceship, Prometheus. She stole that. Which is why she ended up fighting and trying to seduce Daniel Jackson in that episode. It's it's a good episode. That's why when you see her there, she's saying, "Where's my Daniel?" Because that's what she was doing. Right. Anyway, while the Stargate franchise may be a thing of the past, for now at least, hopefully not for long, Claudia Black brought her full regal bearing to play the lead Night Sister in Ahsoka. For long-time Star Wars fans, her appearance was quite significant. In addition to Black's performance having the perfect level of creepy gravitas, we got to finally see the Night Sister homeworld, a graveyard planet known as Peridia. We know where everybody that the stars of the show would just happen to be there, in this whole galaxy that they traveled to. Everything they needed was just there on this first planet they came to. Anyway, Black's character and her fellow Night Sisters aren't exactly bad guys, not all the time at least, but they see the but they see the Force differently than the Jedi do. Well, they use magic with a K, Magick. If you watch the subtitles. And this has put them at odds with our favourite lightsaber wielding good guys. They don't like the Jedi because they say that Sabine reeks of Jedi. Don't know why they said she reeks of Jedi, because they were standing in the presence of actual Force users, an ex-Jedi, Baylan Skoll, and his apprentice, Shin Hati. But according to them, Sabine reeked of Jedi, even though she apparently doesn't have any Force abilities yet. Anyway, there are only 2 episodes of Ahsoka left, and while we can't view the threads of fate like the Night Sisters do, we think it's a safe bet that this former Stargate actress will play an even greater role in those episodes. Well, we'll see, won't we? Or Star Wars is like infamous for not using, interesting characters in it. Anyway, already this character and her fellow Night Sisters have proven instrumental in orchestrating Grand Admiral Thrawn's return, and that alone has made them one of the most powerful forces in any galaxy. Considering the strong hints that the Night Sisters have resurrected Thrawn's fallen soldiers, we wouldn't be surprised if the finale to this franchise trades Stargate for The Walking Dead in a downright infectious homage to another genre franchise. So there we go. So anyway, so there we go. So that's Claudia Black in Star Wars now. So she's been in Stargate, she's been in Star Wars. Has she been in Star Trek? I don't think so. She might have been. I don't know. Probably not. Because lots of Stargate actors have been in Star Trek, So why not Claudia? She might have been. I don't know. Anyway, so that's it. That was the last article. So right, we'll leave it there. We will leave it there. A quick show tonight, just an hour. So, right, and nobody popped in, even though I left a link, because no bugger watched it, but never mind. Right, so next up, tomorrow night, Monday, is Magnificent Mondays, and we're doing Stealth. Bit of a guilty pleasure. It's not the best film, not the most best, not the most amazing film ever made, but I like it. It's fun. And then on next Friday, on The Appointment with Fear, we're doing that. House of the Devil by Ty West, director Ty West. Great film. Very creepy. Right, so we'll leave it there. So, where are we? Let me get myself sorted. There we go. So, thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.